Welcome back, everybody. This is Running It Back's Tour de France recap show for Stage 8. I am Patrick Ramirez, your host, lifelong cyclist, stand-up comedian. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to my YouTube show. All my stuff is up here. Stand-up comedy clips, my interview series, and this Tour de France recap show. We got some new subscribers. We're getting new viewers every day, and the tour is heating up. So let's talk about the tour today, and we're going to start with headlines of the tour. Jonathan Milan wins his very first stage in the tour in today's sprint finish. Headline number 2, all the GC riders stay safe. And last headline, I got all eyes towards Monday's stage. Parentheses, got some Remco talk. Let's go through these headlines one by one because we had a purely flat stage today in the tour. Borderline snooze fest today. We're going to have stages like these in the tour, and tomorrow is going to be the same. Flat, no climbs to break it up. This is a day where you wake up and flip on the tour, you watch a little bit, and maybe you go do something else for a couple hours, and then you come back and you check in. Because it's a day for the sprinters, and there's climbs coming up in the next couple days, so there's no reason for GCers to make this stage interesting. There's no reason for really breakaways to really get away for that long as well. This is a day for the sprinters. That means steady and medium to fast the entire stage until the very end when you sprint, and then that's it. So Milan wins his first stage of the tour, first Italian win in 6 years. He got close second to Tim Miller a few stages ago. He was gunning for this one. He needed it. Trek needed it. And he wins today. I think everybody picked him for the most part, and he pulled it off. So not a big surprise to it. I think maybe a little bit of a surprise that some of the other sprinters weren't in the mix when we came to the finish line. But by and large, did anything surprise anybody in the stage? The breakaways didn't really happen. One got away a little late, but it came right back. Nothing too big. And maybe that's a good thing for this stage, for this tour. Give us a chance to catch our breath. So, Milan, stage win. Big time, nice sprint, great, powerful sprint. He's a big man. He's a big dude. He's very muscular. So, he's in the winner's column now. Nice job. Nice job for Milan. So right into headline number 2, all the GCers stay safe today. GCers meaning Tadej Pogacar, Jonas Vingegaard, Remco Evenepoel. Hey, how about Kevin Vauquelin too, sitting pretty in third. All safe. I don't even think we had a crash today. Did anybody even get a flat? It was a pretty benign stage. Easy time. And then last headline, all eyes towards Monday. And when we're going to have this for a couple stages in the future too, when it comes to the tour, when we have slow stages like this, like inconsequential stages that are largely for sprinters, in the media, we tend to start to talk about other things. And that's where the Remco talk comes in. We start to talk about, is Remco going to leave his current team? Whose contracts are up? Who's up and coming? What teams are in need of riders? What teams are changing sponsors? All these little tabloid headlines start to come up. And Remco, we had this about a year ago as well. Don't forget. So where's Remco going to go? Does he have a team now that is supporting him? Can he go to a different team that will support him better? I just saw the headline that Ineos does not have a bike sponsor yet for next year. They have the Direct Energy as a sponsor on their jersey just starting for this tour, which is kind of weird because there is already a Total Energies team. Can they collude and maybe help each other out? Neither of them really have any GC threats or anything, so they can't really help each other out, but maybe in a breakaway down the road they will. That's interesting. But Remco seems to be the one that is the hot talk as far as a team switch. Could he go to Red Bull? Could he go to Ineos? Could he go to some team with some deep pockets that have been lacking that GC guy? And then think about Soudal. If they lose Remco, who else is on Soudal's team? Tim Miller is a good sprinter. But that's it. Some other team is going to poach these riders It wasn't that long ago when Soudal Quickstep was the classics team. And right when they got Remco, that's when that started to shift to a GC type of team, to a one-day hilly type of team. And Remco has won the Ardennes Classics, and he's won races there. He's won the Vuelta. It's weird that Remco has had such success, and yet maybe we're not thinking of him as a top-tier rider when it comes to the Pogacars and Jonas's. And I don't know why, because he's really accomplished, but when you're a top tier, you have to race and beat the other top tier riders. Remco has not done that yet. This is his chance to do it. Funny though, he has done that in TTs, but we need to see it on the road. And where Remco ends up seems to be a thought that most people think he is leaving. He will leave Soudal this year. So that's what we do on slow stages, is we're going to drum up some secondary storylines. And it's usually in the way of transfer talk. Who's going where? Who can support who? Who's got deep pockets? Who's on the way out making space for someone on the way in? So those were headlines for Stage 8 in the Tour. Again, all eyes to Monday. The big stages are not on Sundays this week. The big stages are going to be on Monday and in rest days on Tuesday. So a little different change to the Tour. The Tour is adapting. The Tour is willing to change for schedules and viewers. So that's going to be a little different. Monday. Get ready for Monday. A big Monday. Let's move on to our next segment, which is the USA report for today. Slow day. Quinn Simmons again. Ultimate helper. He's riding the front early in these stages. I'm talking like the first 50K. And I listened to the Move podcast, and finally it's starting to be said that people are getting critical of Lido Trek and the way they're using Quinn Simmons. Why are they using this guy as just a frontline human shield in the early to middle parts of these stages when he is quite possibly one of the best breakaway riders in this tour? If you were just ranked top 15, top 20 riders in this field, he's probably in the top 20. So why are they using him to just do this arbitrary sit in the wind and ride hard work? Are they wasting his talents? Are they potentially burning matches for a breakaway attempt win later in the stage? Is Quinn Simmons doing this by his own accord, or is he being ordered to do this by his team? And don't even go that far back, where Quinn Simmons had a bit of a troubled history with this team in general. Lido Trek, going back a couple years with tweets and social media stuff. They made him apologize. He didn't really do anything, but it was bad in this. This has not been the smoothest relationship as far as Quinn Simmons' role on the team. He might have even have been a late entry into this team's tour roster. Throw in the mix, too, that they left off Mads Pedersen on their tour team, former world champion, was having a great spring, and he's not even here. Would that have split the team or caused some sort of fraction between the Milan and Pedersen because they're somewhat similar riders? But this team confuses me every day now, Lido Trek. They got the win today. Good for them. Milan was on his own in that final sprint. There was no help. He did that on his own. Quinn Simmons helped early. Could you argue, even if he didn't help, we would have had the same result? At the first 50Ks, I think you could. So I'm glad people are starting to get critical of Lido Trek and the usage of Quinn Simmons, because he's a great rider and he's being misused in this first week of the tour. Keeping on with the USA report, Sepp Kuss, Will Barta, Matteo Jorgensen, Niso Palace, all safe leading to Monday. And when it comes to all those riders, Monday's going to be a huge day to see who's actually doing what in this race. I expect Sepp Kuss and Matthew Jorgensen to play critical roles in the Monday mountain finish. Sepp Kuss is the question mark there, like how critical can he be in support of Jonas? Because he hasn't shown anything, and everybody seems to think he's saving it. They're saving him. They're saving him. Do we know he's being saved? Or is he just not up to up to par like the others are? But we're going to find out on Monday, because We said it before, Sepp Kuss is a diesel. He rides all these miles. Don't forget, a couple years ago, he rode every single tour, won one of them. Every single Grand Tour, I mean. So I hope he's waiting to be unleashed. Matteo Jorgensen looks like he's in great shape. You always fear that first mountain stage, like who is just lucky to be in the top 5 GC and who's sitting on good form. So these are two riders that I would be a little worried about those two things. Keeping down the line, Will Barda, we saw him in a breakaway, so I don't know if climbing is going to be his thing. Nielsen Palace, climbing should be his thing. He's shown good results in the past. We have to wait and see with that. If Ben Healy has any climbing legs, I don't think so. He's more of a breakaway rider. I don't think he'll be riding in support of him. This is where EF turns into a free-for-all. And they're just sort of seeing who can do what in a stage like Mondays. Nielsen Palace is a question mark. Can he have good legs to finish top 10, top 15? The USA Report, we'll get back to you on that. So moving on to our next segment on the show, we do it every stage. Winners and losers today of Stage 8. So winners, here's some fun ones. Winners of the stage, how about first-time stage winners? Win today is Jonathan Milan. You win your first stage of the Tour de France, whether you do it young, whether you do it late in your career. That's an awesome thing because the reporters come in and they say, it's his first win. And then in this case, we got the first Italian win in the Tour in 6 years since Vincenzo Nibali. So that's a good storyline. And, when it comes to Peacock and the broadcast, it's funny, we really don't get a lot of interviews post-stage that isn't the American riders. Like, when does Peacock ever interview Pogačar? Or do they just kind of like play the interview he's talking with someone else? Do they get these interviews? Would Peacock go running up to Jonathan Milan and get a quick 30-second soundbite? I don't think they do. I think they're by and large focused on the American audience. Next winner of the stage, how about just big riders in general? Jonathan Milan is 6'3", 185 pounds. How about one for the big guys today? He hulks over everybody. He sprints with the elbows out. He looks like he's breaking the bike. Big guys, winners today. Along those lines, I don't know if you can call this a winner of the stage or not, but how about a win for long crank arms? They were doing a report on Milan's bike today, and he had 175 millimeter crank arms, which by today's standards just seem massive. He's running a 1x chainring. These are big guy setups on bikes. 1x, long crank arms, throw in some wide bars, a big bike, some deep wheels. That's a big dude. And he also does a thing where his head is bobbing all over the place when he sprints, just borderline out of control, but controlled by his standards. And then lastly, winner of the stage. How about Wout? Would you give Wout of one of the winners of the stage today coming out of nowhere to get second? When I watched that sprint from the overhead and the Visma jersey started pulling even with Milan, like, who's that guy? I didn't even think it was Wout. I was like, oh, there's a Visma guy getting it. It's like, oh, that's Wout. He got about even with them, and then he dropped back to about a bike length back. But Wout finding a little bit of legs there. Good for him. That's a little confidence inspiring for coming up for the next two stages. Coming up next, we have losers of the stage today. How about losers of the day? Can we just call it that? So losers of the day, how about this one? How about the women's Giro? It really lost today because think about it. The tour's in its first week. Everything's exciting. This is all we're watching. And who's paying attention to any other races? Nobody. And I go check the women's Giro today, and it was a great stage. The jersey changed hands. Marlon Reusser loses the jersey. She's crying at the end. I'm like, what the heck's going on in this race? How do I not know anything about? Oh, that's right. I've been watching the Tour. I don't have too much interest in this women's race. So how about the Giro just taking one on the chin because no one is watching this damn race. No one cares. It's Tour. It's going to be hard to compete. But in a way, Maybe it gets us prepped up because, the women's tour starts right after the men's finishes. So maybe it can be a bit of a preview. Think of it that way. Can we go with that? So you lost. You are a loser today at women's Giro. But there are some others that lost today. How about Biniam Girmay? Was like 15th in the sprint today. Not even close. He had teammates running into that final. Didn't happen today. Did not have it. Along those lines, how about this for surprise that he's in this race? How about Groenewegen? Did you know he's in this race? Because he was like 16th or 17th today in the sprint today. He has been nowhere in any of these sprints. His nose has not popped out in the front of the camera at all. So I'm giving him a loser of the day too. And what team is that guy on again? I forgot. I don't know what their ambitions are for this stage. So losers of the day were those three. Let's go to my multimedia segment of the show. This one's called Media Numbers for Stage 7. This is where I rate the viewership for yesterday's stage from the Move podcast, the Lanterne Rouge YouTube show, and Chris Horner's Butterfly Effect. Because yesterday, Chris Horner's Butterfly Effect took the belt with a whopping 880,000 views on his review of the stage from 2 days ago. So let's go through the numbers today. The Move with Bradley Wiggins, Lance Armstrong, and George Hincapie, 46K. Lanterne Rouge, 23K. And the Butterfly Effect, 43K, giving the win to the Move from yesterday's broadcast. Hey, it's a sprint day. It's a flat day. Not a lot happens. I think you just end up going with whatever's on, which is going to be the Move. It comes on right after the Peacock broadcast. It's on iTunes. It's on YouTube. It's probably pushed out in front of us more than the other ones. So the Move wins that. It's a slow stage today, so you have to really rely on the personalities of your anchors and insights and stories from the past, and the Move is going to win that every time. Hincapie was critical of some teams. Lance Armstrong was funny. Bradley Wiggins was funny. He talked about how he's into weights now and how he's gained 30 kilos since his winning tour weight. That's stuff we're not going to get anywhere else. So the Move, you have the belt. We'll see how it goes tomorrow. It'll also be interesting to see who wins the viewership battle on these important stages too. Tomorrow's another slow one. Talking about tomorrow, it's going to be stage 9 in the Tour tomorrow. It's going to be 174.1 kilometers. It's all flat. There's an intermediate sprint like in the first 30K or something. Everybody's going to want to save the legs for Monday. This is a go out and go ride your bike stage. Flip it on, go out there, and just come back later. I mean, you may not even need to make it for the finish, to be honest. This is maybe not even check the video. This is check the headlines and then keep going, because this is a boring one. The only thing we have to hope for is there's no crashes. No crashes whatsoever. Nothing bad for the GCers. And that's it. That's it for the sprints. If you're a sprinter, Milan, you're going to want to go 2 for 2, because after tomorrow, the sprinters got to go into hibernation mode. They've got to somehow make it to the top of this mountain within the time cut. That's about it. So for Girmay, Groenewegen, maybe Van der Poel, Jonathan Milan, it's got to be all hands on deck to try and win. And even so, that can be in the last 30K. Maybe even that Uno X guy, like for a surprise sprint day, it's tomorrow. That Uno X guy, Soren, he could get in there if he's got great legs tomorrow. It could happen, because it's probably not going to be that hard of a race to the finish. Until the finish, I should say. That is a big maybe, of course, because this race always tricks us. But with the big Monday, there's no way. They got to be thinking conserve. Will Wout have a chance to sprint for himself? I think is a good question for tomorrow. Is he going to sprint or is he going to save it? We'll find out. Those GC teams that have a sprinter is the one question. It's really just Visma, really, that has the sprinter. I don't think anyone... Well, you got Tim Melier from Soudal, But as I said before, I don't know if Sudal is really good at supporting Remco in the mountains. I don't even know if they're intending to support him, to be honest. So Tim Malier, that might be a team divided in the bus by the end of this tour. If we just go through the teams and just say, like, what team is the most functional at this point? Is it Visma? Is it Sudal? Or are they like a couple that's breaking up and they're fighting in the bus, or it's getting passive aggressive, or they're just ignoring each other? UAE, all on board, ideal couple, wearing the same clothes, going on trips. Perfect match. So let's watch tomorrow and see what the dynamics are and see what we're hoping for, or what we think we're going into Monday with after tomorrow. Okay, that was stage 8 in the tour on the Running It Back channel. That was me, Patrick Ramirez. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for checking out all my videos. You guys said I'm doing it every day. I'm giving you a recap. I'll keep it short. I hit the headlines. And this Sunday, we're going to have a special guest. So for me, Patrick Ramirez, for the Running It Back Network, enjoy stage 9 tomorrow. And always, don't forget, we're sprinting tomorrow. Have a good night. We'll talk later.